everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we are going to be doing the commentary / analysis for episode 19 of Miraculous Ladybug season 4, Simpleman. Now before I go any further, as usual, I will leave some links below in the description box for you to go and watch the episode with the subtitles if you haven't seen it already, but please know those links will eventually expire. Actually, today's episode was really hard to find. I'm filming a bit later than normal because the subtitles, I couldn't find them anywhere. So there may not be as many links as usual, and eventually, as always, those links will expire as they get taken down for copyright and stuff like that. Now, before we get into the video properly, I think for this episode there's going to be another big split again of people who really enjoyed it and people who didn't really enjoy it. And I think those people who didn't really enjoy it, from what I've read from the comments under my videos and I've seen on Twitter and Tumblr and stuff, it seems that a lot of people were expecting for it to be a follow-on from what happened in Wishmaker, with obviously Luca finding out their identities and to see what would happen next. And obviously we didn't get that. That's not what happened. However, I felt like the trailers made it clear that this episode wasn't going to be that. So I was going into Simpleman with all the information I had. I was going into Simpleman expecting a funny, chill, less intense, more filler episode. And I think a lot of people, when they hear filler episode, they're like, oh, it means it's going to be a bad episode. Doesn't mean the episode is going to be bad. To me, a filler episode usually means like an episode that's not going to contribute to the overarching plot of the whole season. So for example, another filler episode this season was Guilt Trip, and I loved Guilt Trip. Guilt Trip has been one of my favourite episodes this season. So Simpleman was definitely a filler episode, but I don't think it was a bad episode. It was funny and it was more chill, which is exactly what we needed. I know we're not watching these episodes in order, we're just watching them whenever they get released. But if you think about it in the timeline, I don't know what episode 15 is going to be like, I know nothing about it. But episode 16, Haxan, we did see the start of the breakdown of Ladybug and Shatner's relationship. 17, Rocketeer, we saw how Adrian was really feeling, as well as some potential Alia and Nino relationship breakdown. Then of course 18, Wishmaker, we had Luca finding out their identities, but also there was some kind of inner turmoil, mainly with Adrian but also with Marinette, about their future, both as like a human being as well as what they're going to do with their lives. Are they going to be a superhero all the time, but they also need a normal job? So those 3 episodes, watched in order, the intensity builds in them, and Simpleman just brought it back down. It was something more chill and more funny and more wholesome, more like typical Miraculous season 1, a typical Miraculous season 1 episode, you know? But that being said, I do understand if you were kind of disappointed and were expecting a direct follow-on from Wishmaker. I get that, but I did feel like the trailers made it clear that's not gonna happen. Like, the trailers made it clear Luca isn't in this episode. But I think if you were expecting a direct continuation from Wishmaker, you were gonna be disappointed. But because I wasn't expecting that, I was expecting something funny, before I would assume 20 and 21 are gonna build up to whatever's gonna happen in episode 100, and then 23, 24 are gonna be pretty intense as they build towards the finale. So I feel like chronologically, because I know Psycho Medium, I think that's going to be another filler episode. Chronologically, I feel like Simpleman is the last episode this season that's going to be like this. I would think from here on out, chronologically anyway, the rest of the episodes. Wow, we've hardly got any episodes left. Just realised I've got 5, 9, 15, and then 20 to 26. It's gone so fast. Anyway, so I think if you were expecting that, you would have been really disappointed, but I wasn't expecting that, so I really liked it. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't a bad episode. I didn't think it was badly written or anything like that, but I definitely don't like Roland or the kids all that much. Like, the kids did a good job, they came through. Don't like it that much. However, we did get some like normal, like I said, typical season 1 Lady Noir partnership. No, it wasn't particularly romantic, but it was nice. It was nice to see them getting along like a proper team. And we also did get some Adrianettes. However, I was really looking forward to the Adrianette, but I did feel a bit disappointed by it, because again, it was like season 1 Adrianette, where it's really cringy. I'll get to it more when we get to that scene, but yeah, a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was a bad episode. A lot of people were saying, oh, it was the worst episode this season. This wasn't a bad episode, but I think if you were expecting a direct continuation from Wishmaker, then you would be disappointed. But I wasn't expecting that, so I enjoyed this episode. So the opening scene. Those Kwamis, oh my god. Fluff and Kalki. Someone get them some counselling. Oh my god. They were not okay. Kalki and Fluff, their faces, they were not having a good time. Like I said, like I have quite a lot of good things to say about this episode. I really liked it a bit later when she was like, hey, let's put a cartoon on. They were like, yeah, let's put on Ladybug and Cat Noir, and she was just like, do we have to? Like, Marinette, I can really relate to this because I too am sick of the sound of my own voice and my own face of having to edit videos of me all the time. I was like, yeah, Marinette, I feel your pain. Sometimes I'm just like, this video really needs to go up, the spoiler's just been released. But then the other part of me is like, but do I really want to listen to me talk for 10 minutes whilst I edit this video and have to hear me say the same things over and over and over again? It's tiring. I understand her pain. It was a lot of the things in this episode were really funny. I really liked it. It was chill. If we were watching these episodes in the correct order, this episode would be perfect as a nice little, like a little break essentially from the mental exhaustion that the show has just become essentially. And another thing I really liked about this episode was all the different art styles we got to see. So obviously we had the normal style the show is in, but then we got to see the other animation on the computer. We also got to see Marinette's drawings on the big like plan she brought down. I'll talk about that in a minute. The dream part where it was all drawn as well. Marinette's other drawings that were left in the drawer. The kids sketches towards the end. The thing on the sticky notes with Adrian. I really liked all the different art styles we got to see in this episode. I thought it was a great idea. Not that I know much about art styles, but I really liked how it brought something different to the episode. We don't usually get that, so I really liked it. And Manon, I don't like her that much. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of all the kids. If I had to rank them, I'd put Ella and Etta at the top because they're both equally as annoying and I also don't know which one's which. Then I'd say Manon. And then Chris. I hate him, he's so annoying. Anyway, there's no solid reason why I hate him. I just find him annoying. He's an annoying child. He's annoying, what do you want me to say? It's just annoying. But Manon, she did the Lord's work letting us have a close-up of those drawings. I also like how all the kids know who she's in love with and they're just like, oh yeah, that's Marinette, our babysitter, in love with this guy she can't even talk to. But also, just a quick question. So Marinette was thinking of all the different people she could ask to babysit the kids while she was meant to be babysitting them. Gina said she was in Shanghai, or China at the very least. I don't think she said Shanghai, she said China. And she had met a girl who was like Marinette. Was that hinting that Gina has met Faye? No? Yes? That was like my first thought and I was like, oh, you're in China, you've met a girl who's like Marinette? Are we talking about Faye here? Like I felt like Faye and Marinette were kind of similar in personality. I would say Faye is a lot tougher than Marinette, but I guess Faye has to be since she is / was homeless. I don't know, I just kind of assume she moved in with Marinette's uncle. But I don't actually know. Anyway, another funny bit, maybe no one else thought this, but so when they first arrived at Roland's house, he was showing Ella and Etta the darts and I thought he was going to stab them with it. Anyone else think that? No? Also, another funny bit, I really liked this episode, he was looking at the laptop and his fingers, you see his fingers next to the keyboard and I was like, oh no wonder you have trouble using a laptop because your fingers are bigger than the keyboard keys, Roland. So someone's gonna have to get him like a heavy duty, you know, size keyboard in order for his fingers to be able to actually type on it. That was really good. But now let's talk about something I didn't like as much, which was the Adrianette cringe. Honestly, I would say this season we haven't got much Adrianette, but what we have got, whilst Marinette has still been stuttering or whatever, it's been quite nice. You all know how much I love the guilt trip boiler room scene. That will live in my head forever, rent-free. We haven't really got much else other than that. Yeah, we got the umbrella scene in Mr. Pigeon 72, but again, that situation was kind of cringe, but I guess Marinette was actually doing it for Kagami, so that makes it better? I don't know. That episode was kind of cringe towards the start, but the umbrella scene did make up for it. Other than that, there was a bit of a scene in Mega Leech and some stuff in Queen Banana and Wishmaker as well. There hasn't really been a great deal of Adrianette, so I was really looking forward to it. However, because this episode obviously wasn't as important plot-wise. I doubt it has really any importance. I doubt it really has any importance. They obviously made Marinette into her normal creepy stalker self, and I did find it a bit odd because to me Marinette has showed more maturity this season. Obviously it was more in relation to Ladybug rather than herself and her feelings for Adrien, but I did feel like it was a bit incongruous, I guess, like as in it didn't fit with the way her character has been developing this season, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so she's got more mature as Ladybug but has had zero development as Marinette. That was a bit weird to see after I've seen all the other episodes. I could definitely see this episode fitting better in seasons 1, 2 and 3. Seasons 4, it just seems a bit weird with all the development she's been given. She hasn't really done anything like this season. Again, Mr. Pigeon 72, yeah, I guess it was technically stalking, but she was doing it for Kagami, not herself, so I didn't mind that as much, it being cringy. So you know what I mean? It was just, with the way her character has been developing, this just felt so out of place. She's gone from breaking up with her boyfriend, being a great leader, telling Alia her secret but being a great leader for her. Yeah, she's got all these great plans as Ladybug, but it just seems all her emotional maturity is abandoned whenever she's not in costume, or at least around Adrien. So that is a bit weird. So I was expecting her to still stutter, but I was expecting her to be less of a stalker this season after everything that's happened. So yeah, I liked how cute it was that she had a plan, because obviously talking to Adrien makes her feel so anxious, so she had a plan of how she was going to get around telling him she had feelings for him. That was kind of sweet, but it was also a bit weird. But you know what I mean? So I was really looking forward to the Adrianette in this episode, but it felt a bit flat to me. Like, we had that great moment in Guilt Trip, we had a sweet moment in Mega Leech, and we also had Mr. Pigeon 72. Like, to me, that relationship was showing some progress, especially with the way Lady Noir is breaking up right now. So I was a bit confused by it. So I was looking forward to the Adrianette in this episode initially, and I unfortunately didn't really enjoy it that much. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't. However, last night I did find it kind of funny. Obviously, I don't speak Portuguese. I was watching it live. There are no subtitles live, so I didn't find out what had happened properly until this morning. But last night, my initial thought when Marinette had the fishing rod, that she was going to try and get the hook on Adrien's harness or whatever he was wearing and pull him up to where she was stood. And I was sat there watching it like, Marinette, you are smaller than him, and I know as Ladybug you have super strength, but as Marinette you are like a wet noodle. You have absolutely zero strength. Do you, honest to God, think you are going to be able to pull up this boy who is bigger than you with a fishing rod of all things? Thankfully that's not what she was trying to do, although again, not happy with what she was trying to do, not happy with that whole sequence, to be honest. But I was just like, what are you doing? You can't do that. And luckily she stopped doing that. So now we've talked about something I didn't really like, let's get back to the things I did like. I really enjoyed Roland and Shadow Daddy's little chat before he got akumatized. That was funny. However, Shadow Daddy, like, shut up. Like, he was like, this is the simplest mission, to get the Miraculous. If it's so simple, why haven't you been able to do it yet? Why have these two children, two literal children, been able to outsmart you all of these times if it's so simple? I don't know. However, one thing I was just a bit like, oh come on, that's a bit of a cop-out. How the kids didn't get affected by the simplificator thing, whatever it was, whatever the name of it was called. They didn't get affected by it because they were stood behind him. Come on. Like, seriously? Really? Is that what we're going with? So I was just a bit like, okay. Anyway. And I was actually really disappointed that we were robbed of a Chat Noir transformation sequence with Adrien with his wings on. Like, what is that about? Excuse me. That's the least they could have done for us. Oh my god, I was so looking forward to that. When I was watching this last night, my heart just deflated and I was like, how dare you? How dare you take this moment away from us? However, one thing I did find funny in relation to Chat Noir, so Ladybug had like got all these people together who had crashed in the helicopter. No idea how they'd managed to jump out and cling onto the Eiffel Tower, but okay, whatever. I'll take it. I'm trying not to think too deeply about this episode because, you know, Simpleman, I I think we're just supposed to think about it simply. The clue is in the title and what happened in the episode. So she'd got them together in this ball to bring them down to the ground, and he was just stood on them like, yeah, I have done nothing, and I am now going to stand on your shoulders, sir. Well done. It was just like, okay. So now let's talk about that Akuma fight. And again, going with the theme of the episode, it was definitely a silly fight. I found it very funny, and the general concept of this episode was really fun as well, especially with Nadia. She was like, I am Nadia. Clara is not with me. This is Clara. She is no longer on the helicopter. And then, oh, I can't wait to hear this in English, because then Nadia was like, bug, bug, cat, cat, help. I am hyped to see this episode in English. That was really funny. So I definitely don't think a fight like this would have worked in any other episode, but again, because of the overall theme and the concept of the episode, it did work here. So I did quite enjoy it, but this wouldn't have worked if they weren't all being stupid in this episode. When Ladybug got smacked in the face with her Lucky Charm, I thought that was hilarious. And also revelation, Daddy Agrest likes candy, so you know, they all know for next time if they need Adrian for something, they can bribe him with a box of chocolates or something. Oh, well, that's what I would do. However, one thing I am a bit confused of in the fight, so obviously it was meant to be very simple and the kids were able to help, but I'm pretty sure Simpleman, judging from his facial expression and his next line saying, hey, you're helping them, I'm gonna have to turn you simple as well, he heard them helping Ladybug and Noir, so he presumably also heard what they'd all just said, yet he still technically went with the plan. You know what I mean? That was, you should have made it so he didn't hear. That was a bit weird, but again, I'm trying not to think too much about it because I don't think we're supposed to. It was just a fun episode. I enjoyed it. I got quite a few laughs, which hasn't really been happening with Miraculous recently. Hack-Sam was a good episode, not really funny. Wishmaker, amazing episode. Well, I don't know. Jagged Stone as a Crocodile and Mr. Cucumber were hilarious. Rocketeer wasn't really funny though, it was quite serious. So this was definitely the break I think we all needed. But again, I do understand if you were disappointed because of what had happened in Wishmaker. Now let's talk about the ending, and I don't mean the ending with Roland and the kids, I'm talking about Marinette on the Eiffel Tower. So my thing with Marinette is usually when she does all these stalker stuff, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she, more often than not, either does the bad thing but then apologises, or is about to do the bad thing and then realises, hey, I'm not really supposed to do that, which is what she did in this episode. So I was happy she didn't end up doing it, but you know, she shouldn't have been doing it anyway. I guess I was really expecting some sweeter Adrianette from this episode, since I feel that's where we've been heading with the Adrianette we've got so far. They didn't really talk one-on-one much in Wishmaker, but I thought the scenes they had together with Luca were all really sweet. Guilt Trip, as we all know, was an adorable scene. Optigami stuck in that elevator together. The other smile he gave her when they're on their way up to the magazine shoot before everything went bad, that was really cute as well. So I don't know, plus as well with, like I said before, Marinette's emotional maturity this season, she's been getting more and more mature, and it's just all gone out the window this episode. I get it was done for comedic effect, but I feel stalking isn't funny, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you could have done something else. I'm not sure what exactly, I'd have to think about it, but it's not becoming funny anymore. Like season 1, haha, yeah, okay, season 2, season 2, alright, stop. Season 4, she had stopped until now, really. So yeah, I do have mixed feelings about it. If you liked those scenes, that's fine with me. However, one more thing I have to say. So I thought they were maybe filming a TV advert with Adrian, hence why he maybe needed to be, you know, moving for the shoot, as in he was going to be mobile on the harness, he was going to be moving, so I thought they were going to be filming it. But Vincent, in his amazing poses, was just taking still photos of Adrian as he flew through the air. But then we got to see like the final like image they were going to use for the advert, and you can't even see the Eiffel Tower in the background. But I'm going to Google. Let's Google how far up the first stage of the Eiffel Tower is. I'm pretty sure they were only on the first stage. I mean, any higher would have been like, I don't know. How far up is the first stage of the Eiffel Tower? So the first floor is 187 feet off the ground. Why didn't they just shoot this in a studio with the ground pretty close to the floor with green screens if you were planning on even putting the Eiffel Tower in the background? 187 feet. And Adrian, like his dad, is just like, I'm not so sure about school, but sure, yeah, you can do death-defying stunts flying on a single harness with not much safety equipment below and no first aiders on hand in case something goes wrong. Yeah, you can do that 187 feet in the air, but I'm not so sure about sending you to school. 187 feet. Why didn't you just shoot this in a studio if you weren't even going to put the Eiffel Tower in the background? What was the point? Like, it was fun to watch, it looked great with the angel wings, but like, the lack of care for children's health and safety in this show is shocking. Anyway, so the best line of the episode, I kind of did like Nadia's bug bug cat cat, but I also liked Adrian saying, she's always right and I'm in love. I was like, well, I mean, okay, fair enough. I see where you're coming from. However, again, I do feel like this episode seems a bit incongruous because, like, we saw how he was feeling in Rocketeer and Wishmaker about Ladybug, so it's a bit like, are you actually still in love with her though? Are you actually going to go along with whatever she says? Because I do feel like we are building towards a confrontation, possibly in episode 22 or the finale. So I was a bit confused by the line, but I also thought it was pretty funny, so I liked it. And the MVP for the episode, I guess I'll just give it to all of the 4 children. I would say none of the kids did any more or any less than all the other ones. They're all pretty equal, so I won't give it to just one of them. It will be going to Ella, Etta, Manon, and unfortunately Chris. Still don't like him. But yeah, they all did a good job. I don't mind it when the kids are in the episode, as long as it's just 1 or 2 of them and they're not the focus of the episode. So for example, Stormy Weather, Manon's in that episode, but she's not really the focus. Sapatis, I guess Ali is more of the focus in Sapatis, so I don't mind them, I don't hate them. Ella and Etta are by far my favourite out of all 4 of them. But yeah, so I guess it's all 4 of them. They did a good job, they did a good job. I won't take that away from them. They did a good job. I just don't like you. Okay, so overall, like I said, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, but I do feel like, a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but I think that's because a lot of you were expecting a continuation from Wishmaker, where I was expecting something funny and more chill because of how intense everything has been, and I did feel the trailers made it clear, hey, this is nothing to do with what happened in Wishmaker. Luke is not even going to be in this episode. This is just something funny because we don't want to mentally traumatize the whole audience. However, I mean, I guess it is logical to think the next episode is like, okay, well, it's going to explore how Luke is feeling. It's going to explore the ramifications of Wishmaker. It's not weird to think that, but if you were expecting that, I think that's why you're disappointed. This wasn't a bad episode, but if you're expecting that, you wouldn't have liked it so much. I think that's why you're feeling like that. Unless that's not the reason you're feeling like that. I mean, the reason why I didn't enjoy this episode loads was because of a mixture of Roland and the kids, not my favourite characters, and also the cringe season 1 style Adrianette. That's pretty much why I didn't like it all that much. But I thought it was a fun episode, and I think we definitely need it in terms of the chronological timeline of the show, because I think from here on out, from the rest of the season, from 2026, it's going to be pretty intense. So I'd really, really love to know what you thought of this episode. Were you left feeling disappointed, or did you like how funny and chill it was for a change? And I will see you all next time. Bye!